Hey everyone, today I'll be reviewing the CN07X, which is the final reward for this month's Battle Pass. As usual, we'll cover the ship's stats, firepower, survivability, usage tips, and at the end I'll give my opinion on whether it's worth getting or not. Here are the fully upgraded stats of the ship. It has greater durability than the MB Bahia, but it's less than that of JS Katori. Its speed, maneuverability, and radar range are the lowest among assault landing ships, while its sonar range matches that of the Type 071 and MB Bahia. Lastly, it has the longest service time among assault landing ships. This ship is a pseudo-carrier assault landing ship, meaning it's part carrier and part assault landing ship. Because of this, it has two types of firepower, naval and aerial. I'll start by explaining its naval firepower. The ship's naval firepower is relatively weak, consisting only of grenade launchers, autocannons, and unmanned vessels. It has 3 grenade launchers in a 3x1 slot, 2 autocannons in a 2x1 slot, and 2 unmanned vessels in a 1x1 slot, all of which are customizable. The ship has a decent number of grenade launchers, allowing it to deal a decent amount of damage, but it's clearly not enough to compete in a head-on battle against other ships of its kind. The autocannons and unmanned vessels serve as auxiliary weapons that deal minimal damage. But the unmanned vessels are more useful because they can be disruptive to opponents, and depending on what unmanned vessels you use, they could even help you fight against submarines. Speaking of submarines, I'll talk about its anti-submarine capability later. In terms of its aerial firepower, it consists of drones and helicopters. It has 2 drones, each in a customizable 1x1 slot, and has 3 helicopters, all of which are in a customizable 3x1 slot. With this number of aircraft, you can do a lot of damage on your opponents, and if you combine the 2 types of firepower, the overall firepower of the ship would be great. However, it is almost meaningless because the ship's ability to attack opponents is poor, relying entirely on its drones, which aren't very effective at the job. There are a few reasons for this. First and foremost, all drones currently operate with a squadron size of just 1. This makes it easier for air defenses to take them down, as they can focus all their fire on a single target. Some might argue that bombers also operate with a squadron size of 1 and don't face the same issue, but that brings me to my second problem with drones, which is that their firepower is weak. Drones have less firepower compared to bombers and strike fighters. In fact, some drones are even weaker than certain helicopters in the game. To make matters worse, the ship has only 2 aviation reserves, meaning you must be cautious not to lose them, or its offensive capability will quickly dwindle. This is why drones on aircraft carriers are typically used only after strike fighters have exhausted their ammunition. You guys might be wondering, what about the helicopters, unmanned vessels, and the ship itself? The ship's naval firepower is too weak for offensive operations. Its unmanned vessels are primarily suited for support and defense due to their lack of strength, and its helicopters serve a defensive role, protecting you from enemies attempting to engage in a head-on battle, since the ship's naval firepower alone isn't enough to overpower them. To sum all things up, it has great firepower, but it has poor offensive capability, which prevents you from using the ship's entire firepower. In terms of anti-submarine capability, it's decent, thanks to its grenade launchers. The 3 grenade launchers can do a lot more harm on submarines than on surface ships. However, you can make it even better if you equip the ship with helicopters and unmanned vessels with anti-submarine capability. Since they excel in defense, it's wise to take full advantage of them by selecting specific ones that can compensate for the ship's weak aspects. In terms of survivability, it's decent, and shares a similar situation with the ship that I recently reviewed, which is the CN Chengying. It has higher durability than most assault landing ships, allowing it to withstand attacks more effectively. Its anti-air capability is also strong. It's slightly better than that of the MB Bahia. While both ships have 6 air defenses, the Bahias are fixed to the ship, whereas the 07Xs are customizable, giving you the option to further enhance its anti-air capability. However, its agility is a drawback. As mentioned earlier, it has the lowest speed and maneuverability among assault landing ships. That said, it's not too terrible. It's still way better than some carriers in the game, but when compared to other assault landing ships, its agility is undeniably the weakest. Due to the ship's poor offensive capability, this ship is best suited for support and defense roles. When deploying drones, you must ensure they make a meaningful contribution to the team, as the ship has only 2 aviation reserves, as I mentioned earlier. Losing them makes dealing damage significantly harder, so each deployment must count. Also, if you encounter players using missiles that can target your drones, you should switch to using unmanned vessels. You'll just be wasting your drones if you keep deploying them while the enemy is actively guarding against you. You should wait until those players are engaged in combat with your teammates. This way, not only will your drones have a better chance of staying airborne, but your attacks are also more likely to reach them. Lastly, when using this ship, deploy your helicopter just before engaging with players rushing to take you down. The grenade launchers alone won't be enough to stop them, and your helicopters are your best chance at survival. If you lose one before the fight, your chances of staying in the fight drop significantly, making elimination almost certain. But keep in mind, it's only good for a single opponent. If you're dealing with multiple opponents and has powerful air defenses, it might not be enough. Here is my build for CN07X if you guys are interested in it. For the grenade launchers, I use the Fire Dragon 480, which is the newest grenade launcher in the game currently. It has a solid damage output, but its drawback is a long reload time, and it has no anti-submarine capability. If you see submarines as less of a threat, this is a solid choice for a grenade launcher. I use 2 different drones for this ship. The first is the Pan-Spatial Spiderwing, which I chose for its speed and convenience in attacking. The second is the MD-22, which is the newest drone in the game currently, and I selected it for its impressive speed and solid damage output. For the helicopters, I use the Z-21, which is the newest helicopter in the game currently. It has solid firepower and is capable of damaging submarines, as it comes equipped with an anti-submarine missile. I use the Type 30 for the autocannon, mainly because 2 autocannons alone do little against ships. I figured it would be more effective to use one that can target both air and surface units, which is why I chose the Type 30. However, if you don't have it or can't get it, you can always try other dual-purpose autocannons as alternatives. I prefer using the Type 30 for its high damage. While the Type 30's accuracy is questionable, when it does land a hit, it takes a decent chunk of the target's HP. For air defense, I use the Garpun since it's one of the best options available in the weapon shop. However, if you're looking for an upgrade and don't mind the higher cost, you can go for something even better, like the RIM 162D or the Sea Dart. Lastly, I equipped 2 Type 101 for the unmanned vessels because they are harder to sink, thanks to their ability to go underwater. Additionally, it's the only underwater unmanned vessel that is easily accessible, as it can be purchased from the weapon shop. Here are the advantages and disadvantages of the ship. Overall, I think this ship is bad and not worth having, mainly due to its poor offensive capability. As I mentioned earlier, this limitation prevents you from fully using the ship's overall firepower, which makes it less effective in battle and less enjoyable to use. You'd be better off using a proper assault landing ship or aircraft carrier instead of this abomination. You'd contribute more to the team and have a much better experience playing. Now, I'll leave you guys a video of the gameplay of the ship for you guys to see how it performs in battle, and that'll be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys like it, and if you all did, please leave a like and subscribe to support me. Thank you so much for watching.